Hi there, Sarah Sayers here from Kiss Creative, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Surrey in the UK. I wanted to do a short video to go alongside with my gift packaging for my secret Snowflake flip top treasure box. It's a really fun fold, something special for gifting. I made it as a wow swap for my onstage gifts to some special friends, and I wanted to share it as part of my blog hop today, so hopefully you enjoy it. All the dimensions and everything, all the measurements in metric will be in the blog today, so hopefully you can craft along and make with me. Let's get down and let's get making. There we go. Let's move everything out the way, and then we can just quickly check that this is available. Right, let's look. Make sure it's all there and working. There we go. We're a little bit skew width, but that's fine. Just wanted to make sure that you could see everything that was needed today. So I am using 2 sheets of thick basic white, 1 sheet of basic white, some Pacific Point, some Pool Party, and 1 sheet of the Storybook Gnomes DSP. This is all I have left. So this is the one I'll be using. So hopefully I get it right, because I won't be able to cut it again. So let's get going. So what I've done is all the pieces I've cut, I've labelled, and then you work through them sort of from A to J, and then you can decorate the box. So the first pieces you need are 2 pieces of thick basic white, 12 centimetres by 12 centimetres. And what we're going to do is we're going to score each one on each side at 2.5 centimetres. There we go, all the way around. And I'm using my bone folder for this. 1, it gets a little bit of a better crease, and 2, my scoring tool on my trimmer has disappeared, and I've got another one wending its way to me. So it's now, while I've got the scoring, I'm going to take the second piece, which is part B. It's set 19.7 centimetres by 12.4 centimetres. You only need one of these, and you're going to score all the way around at 2.6 centimetres. So just slightly taller, so you're going to have a nice, neat side to your tray, to your bottom of your box. Let's make sure that cutting piece is right out the way. Go. And then the third element that we're going to cut is part C, score is part C, and these are there's 2 of these, and you're going to they're 16.4 centimetres by 7.2, and you, as I say, you cut 2 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to score those at 2 centimetres and 9.2 centimetres. And then the other piece, this is basic white, not thick this time, because this is going to form the lid inside of your box, the secret compartment. Okay, so that's our 2 pieces there. Get that trimmer out the way now. So let's get that to our first piece, which is the trays. And what we're going to do is take our lovely snips, and then you're going to cut up on the bottom piece. It doesn't matter which one you have because it's square. Just cut up to the score lines on each one and then notch those out. So you go up straight first of all, so you've got a nice edge to your tray, and then we're going to take some of the weight out so it makes it easier to create a nice square box. And then we'll repeat that on the other side. Now I find by doing it on each side, you'll have a nice reinforced front and back, and that will be a little bit more important when you come to assemble your box. Right, so that's the first one done, and we're going to do the second one. Cut up each side on the score line up to the next score line. Just take a little bit out of each side. Let's get rid of that little bit there, and the same here, and then we'll pop up on this side. Just going to take another sliver out there. It's just on the score line, and then there we go again. And we'll get rid of those pieces, and then what we'll do is we'll use our multi-purpose glue to stick this all together. What I'm going to do first of all is just burnish all the sides. I'm going to fold them in first of all just to make it a little bit easier, and I can run my bone folder down each side. There we go. We have one. And the reason I burnish it after folding is it just makes the cutting that little bit simpler to do. And now we can take our multi-purpose glue and glue these to form some little trays or a box bottom. Now I tend to glue two sides together at a time, and I can hold those in place for a few seconds. It's really important that they're nice and straight. There we go. And then we can work on the other side. Just a little tiny bit of glue. You don't want any glue squidging out at this point, because it may stop the box mechanism working. There we go. There's one. And we'll work on the second one now. And then this side. And just give those a good pinch so they're all secure, and let those dry. So I'll put those to one side. Now we're going to take our large piece and we're going to repeat the process. So cut up to that score line, bottom, notch out a tab. They don't have to be identical. Again, it's just about taking the weight out from the bottom as you're folding to make sure you have some nice neat sides to your box. They're all nice and square. And then the final one. There we go. And get rid of those little pieces. And we can burnish all the sides of this. You have a nice, neat, crisp edges to your box. There we go. Right, put the lid on that glue for a second. We're not going to glue this together yet. We're just going to put this aside. The trays are going to sit in there like that. And what I do, as I said, the tabs go on either side. Now we're going to take the two pieces of C, and what we're going to do is we're going to valley fold where the sort of two pieces, and then mountain fold this tab, so you end up with this sort of small card with a tab on it. I'm going to give that a good burnish. Again, fold those squares over together using a valley fold, and then mountain fold the tab back, so you've got sort of like a tab hinged card. There we go. Now you can open that up with the tab at the bottom, and we're going to take our first pieces of DSP. These are 14 centimeters by 6.6. You just need to cut 2 of those, and these are going to stick onto the cards. Now, yeah, I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this one down straight on there. Nice even piece all the way around. This one I'm actually going to fold in half and bum fold, and then pop some glue on. And I'm going to demonstrate why I find the first way a lot better way to do this. So as you can see, I'm now trying to line that score line up, which is a little bit more tricky and harder to get everything lined up. So I'm just going to fold that over and burnish it and then give everything a press together. But it seems to not quite to lie as straight as this one. So now this has had time to go off, what I'm going to do is take my trimmer again and just score it at 9.2 with the tab on the left hand side. And if you do that, what I find is everything is now stuck in the right place. And when you come to fold this over and burnish it, everything is nicely proportioned and in the right place. Okay, what we're going to do is bring our trays back in. What we're going to do is take some glue and put, I've forgotten a step. We're going to take our next set of DSP, which is section cut pieces E. They're 6.6 centimeters by 6.6 centimeters, and we're going to turn these over, and we're going to pop this DSP on the square just above the tab. You don't need to decorate this piece because it's going to be your in part of your lid, so you're not going to see it, so you don't need to decorate that piece. And then the same on the other side. Now we're going to turn those over and we're going to add glue onto the back tab where you've got the single square. We're going to take one of our trays and we're going to glue this tab to the outside of the tray, making sure that it sort of covers the box. You can open that up and give it a good squeeze, but what you want to do is make sure that it's nicely lined up with the edge, so when it folds down it sits nicely over the top of the box. Don't worry if it goes in or anything, it's just about getting that tab attached for now. Then we're going to repeat the same process with the other tab. And do the same with this one. Give that a little squeeze to make sure. So both those boxes with their lids. Now we're going to place those onto our tray, and then we're going to turn one of them around by 180 degrees so the lids sit in opposite directions. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is just take that off, and I'm going to pop some glue onto the bottom of the tray, just the bottom for now, and we can line our box, place our boxes, trays inside, making sure, just double check that those are facing opposite directions. That bit's really, really important. And you want those sitting right up onto the edges of each side, making sure that they're all sitting nice and neatly. Right, now we're going to glue the box together around it. So what we'll do is we'll add some glue down the long side first and push that up to the side. Now at this point you can lift these sort of flaps up and sort of squeeze the sides together to make sure everything is sitting and gluing together nicely. Again, just takes a second for all that glue to set. So just keep pinching it, and then we'll repeat on the other side. Again, lift those side pieces, flaps, so you can get a really good pinch on that glue. Just keep squeezing it until those reinforce the sides and tidied all of those tray sides up. Okay, so that should now be fine. Now let's glue the side pieces. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue to the tabs on either side. Fold those in. You're not going to see these because we're just about to tidy that up with this end piece here. Fold that down and you can give that again. Pull those pieces out and just give that a really nice squeeze. So you've got a really beautiful reinforced box. There we go. Now for the other side. It does feel a little bit repetitious, but it's so worth the effort. So again, a little bit of glue on the insides of those tabs. Pop them down. Give them a little squeeze so they're nice and tight around that box. And then we can tidy it up. Doesn't matter if it pops up, because we're going to tidy that up by putting that end piece back on. Just hold that for a second. And you end up with this lovely sort of box with your flaps going either way. Ooh! Right, so I'm going to set that aside, and now we're going to take our next pieces, which we're going to create the lid and the bottom. So you need pieces F and G. This piece I've chosen is in Pacific Point. I can never say that properly. I always want to say specific, but there you go. This is 15 centimetres by 7.7, and this is thick basic white, and it's 15.5 by 8.2. And you need to cut 2 of those. And what you're going to do is glue the Pacific Point onto the thick basic white. You should have a nice border all the way round, and that creates a nice firm lid and a nice firm base. There we go. So next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put those aside just to quickly dry. I'm going to take my pieces H. These are 2 pieces of DSP again. They're 14 centimetres by 2 centimetres. I've cut 2 of those, and I'm going to just quickly just add those to decorate the 2 long sides of my box. Turn that over. There we go. And now that's those have dried slightly, I'm going to add my top piece of DSP. This is I, and it's 14.5 by 7.2. You only need to cut one of these because the bottom piece is not going to show. So I'm just going to take my glue and pop that on the top, like so. As you notice, I'm sort of moving in and out, but I want to make sure that glue has gone completely off, because when I'm handling this piece, I don't want anything slipping and sliding. So again, I'm just going to pop that to the side for the second, and then I'm going to take my pieces J. These are 6.7 centimetres by 2 centimetres, and again, you need to cut 2 of these. Pop a bit of glue on the side, on the reverse side, and then I'm going to pop these onto the side pieces. You can do this in any order you wish. I just like to set my larger pieces aside because they're the more visual ones, and I'm going to be handling these, so I want to make sure they're all nicely stuck down. Just checking all the sides now, everything's square and everything's nice and neat. Let's move that over slightly. There we go. Right, so now we're ready to put our top and bottom onto our box. So for this piece, what you're going to do is fold these pieces in. Doesn't matter if they go down a little bit. And you're going to pop glue on each square. You need to make sure the glue is not going anywhere else. Really, really important. And at this point you want to make sure that they're upright, and we're going to take our top and pop it on to those two pieces. It's worth turning it over and just sliding it to make sure everything is even all the way round, so you haven't got a skew width box. Just give that a little press down. And then what you should find is that's just taken enough that you can then open your lid, give that a good fold, and you're going to flip this one back and do exactly the same on the other side. So what you end up with is, when you open it this way, it's going to open and reveal a tray. And then when you turn it and open it the other way, you're going to have the same. But each section is beautifully decorated with that DSP. And that is, in essence, your flip top secret treasure box. Now, doesn't look so pretty on the bottom at the moment, so let's add some decoration. To help hold it all together, I'm going to take some Pool Party sheer ribbon. I'm just going to wrap that around for a second and just tie it. Just get the right length for starters. I want a nice lush bow. There we go, so that's the right length. Now I'm going to open that up again, grab some tear tape, pop that just into the centre. This is just to anchor the ribbon. And then what I'm going to do this time is a little bit more scientific. Pop it in half, pop that in the middle. And now we can glue our base down. There we go. And again, you want your Pacific point to be on the inside, so it's going to show at the bottom. And again, you're just going to move that around slightly. That's why you don't put the glue right up to the edge. So there's a nice little border of Pacific point all the way round. And you can open your box on either side and give that a little press to make sure that's all stuck down. There we go. And we've got our little ties. We don't want to leave this just plain and undecorated. So let's grab ourselves a piece of basic white. And to decorate, what I thought I would do is use the Celebrate with Tags. It's a beautiful, beautiful bundle. And I'm going to just decorate the inside with a message and the outside. For these pieces, I think I'm going to grab something different. Let's have a look quickly. So I've realised it's not going to fit in my message. So I'm going to grab the window wishes. I'm going to use this Merry Wishes. Sounds like the nice thing to say inside of my... There we go. Side of my box. Haven't decorated this one yet. Haven't made one of these yet. So this is as good a time as any. Let's grab some Pacific points. A nice dark colour. It will show up nicely. And I'm going to stamp that twice. I've got a bit on my nail, but that's not to worry. Because I'm going to take my double oval punch, and I'm just going to punch that out. Actually, that's not come out so great. So let's do that again. So this video does include bloopers. Just making sure that's... There we go, that's come out a little bit better. And now we can take our... Just on that a little bit on the high side. Just going to take a tiny bit off. That should work. There we go. Get that nice and centred. So this was just a leftover piece of basic white I had from when I cut the box. So everything is used. And then I've used this oval punch to just cut 2 pieces of Pool Party DSP. Now, I would normally, when you use this, I would normally pop these up on dimensionals to give them something else, but these are going inside the box, so I don't want to do that. Just going to glue them flat, and then each one is just going to pop inside each flap. And you could use a different message on each side, it doesn't matter. I did that on some of my wow swaps. Again, just make sure you keep pressing all of the pieces together so it stays nice and neat. And now we've got our box done, so now we can add a little bow and fasten our, there we go. It's got a nice big bow. Do like a big bow. And then we can just trim our ends to be nice and pretty. There we go. So that looks, the box is now complete, but I think that looks a little bit bare at the moment. So I have grabbed a piece of Pool Party, and I've used this lovely tag die in the, there we go, here it comes. Celebrations tag dies. I just love this. There's so many options to use, but I've chosen this tag, and I've cut out a tag using that die. You can then fold that over, give that a little burnish, and you've got a ready-made tag to pop onto your box. I've used another piece of scrap. I'll put all the dimensions are in there. Let's take our to and from so we can see who is getting our lovely gift. How wonderful. This would make a lovely neighbour gift. I don't know about you, I tend to give gifts to my neighbours at Christmas, just making sure that's the right way. So stamping towards the top, so you've got plenty of room to write your message. Difficult to stamp straight when you're not straight, when you're not over your tag, but I'm sure you won't make the same error. There we go. Doesn't matter, it's just a tag. There we go. And then for the front, I've used another piece of scrap Snowflake paper. Just going to pop that down. This is, I think, 5 centimeters square, but I will put the dimensions into the blog. There we go. You don't want to go too close to the top because you're going to be fussing that in. And then I've just cut, I've used this die here, this pretty die here, to cut this lovely vellum circle. As you can see, it does a lovely little bit of stitching on the edge of the vellum, that way round. There we go. And that's just sit nicely and soften some of that DSP, but doesn't cover it. And then I've cut one of the snowflakes using the speciality silver foil. How pretty is that? So let's just pop all that together. So I'm just going to pop some little dots of glue, tiny little dots of glue on each snowflake, each arm of the snowflake, and then pop that into the centre of the vellum. Give that a little press. And then now I've got that pressed down, so I'm just making sure that's in the centre. I can now go ahead and pop some glue on the vellum, because you don't want to see the glue oozing through the vellum. So tiny little dots again on the back of the snow, where the snowflake is, and then you can pop that onto the front. And then we can just finish that with a pretty rhinestone in the centre. There we go. So to attach that, I'm going to go to my trusty white baker's twine. I'm going to cut a reasonable length and then pop that in half, and then use my tweezers just to feed that through. There we go. Then I can loop that through to create a nice tag. There we go. And then that will sit. We can tie that onto our ribbon. Let's have it the right way round, it always looks better. And what I tend to do is just tie that quite tightly into a knot, and then we can add another bow at the back for another bit of texture. I think I've got a little bit of glue on my fingers here, so that doesn't help. So make sure your hands are nice and clean when you're handling your baker's twine. There we go. Second time lucky. Let's pull that. And there we have our lovely box. So you can fill this with lots of different things. I used some, this is the one I made on my Facebook Live earlier. So here's a similar one. And in here, this time I used the organdy ribbon. I swapped the colours up and I used the holographic GSP, and I filled it full of some sprouts. And I also put some little chocolates in, but you could put jewellery, you could put anything you want in there, and it works really, really well. So I will have pictures of all of these on my blog. There we go. This one's been embossed, but that essentially is the Secret Snowflake Flip Top Treasure Box. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you get a lot of pleasure from making this box. I'd love to see what you make, so please do share what you make. That's it from me. So thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye.